We're looking at the Battle of Waterloo, and in particular the role that the Duke of Wellington played, the role of that individual at Waterloo in 1815. What we're going to do today is look at a straightforward question, which is normally question 4 on your GCSE warfare exam. You can see it at the top. All we have to do is explain why Wellington's leadership was crucial in the British victory at Waterloo. And we are given the choice of using the following in your answer. You can use choice of defensive position, use of tactics, and you must also use information of your own. So in tackling this question, you're looking at a 12-mark answer. About 15 minutes, I think, to write a decent answer for this. And you are to write 3 developed paragraphs. Each one will explain a different reason why Wellington's leadership was crucial in the British victory at Waterloo. So in other words, your first paragraph is going to be explaining Wellington's choice of defensive position. The second paragraph will be talking about how Wellington used tactics effectively at Waterloo. And your third and final paragraph will be picking an element of your own of Wellington's leadership and explaining why that was so important in the victory. So if you're looking at writing 3 developed paragraphs, it's important to note on this question there is no need for you to write an introduction. There is no need for you to write a conclusion either. All you have to do is produce 3 nicely developed paragraphs, each one giving a reason explaining why Wellington's leadership was crucial in the victory in 1815. So if we look at the first paragraph here, which is an exemplar answer, what we've done in red at the top is just set it up. One reason why Wellington's leadership was crucial in the British victory at Waterloo in 1815 was his choice of defensive position. And we've talked about that. We've talked about the idea that the plan that Wellington had to enact was simply to avoid defeat until the Prussians arrived. We've talked about his use of positioning his soldiers on the reverse side of the ridge and why. We've also talked about him spreading his forces across that ridge so that he was not outflanked. And then you can really add the bit at the bottom, but we've also, just at the bottom there, pointed out that 2 positions at Hougoumont and La Haye-Saint were used to break up any French assault. So what we've done is we've quite simply in this paragraph taken one reason why, which was something given to us in the question, the choice of defensive position, and we've just written 3 or 4 sentences explaining why Wellington's choice of defensive position was crucial, why it was important. And that's the end of the first paragraph. So, on to the second paragraph. In the question we were given Wellington's use of tactics as something we might want to talk about. So we've done that here. And again, we've started the paragraph with a link to the question. Another reason why Wellington's leadership was crucial was his use of tactics. And again, you've got a nice paragraph which just goes into some of the details here. It talks about the tactics of just defending rather than attacking, about his positioning of soldiers, again on the reverse of the ridge. We talked about his use of infantry squares to resist the French attackers, and there's some nice bits of detail there about muskets and bayonets, and the idea that this gave protection from the French cavalry and infantry attacks on all sides. And the hollow centres of these infantry squares were useful too. They were a place of refuge for the wounded. And also protection, they provided protection for officers issuing commands. You could also write that later in the day he reinforced the line when the vital position of La Haye-Saint was finally taken by the enemy. So again, 3, 4, 5 nice sentences of good detail explaining why his use of tactics was crucial. So we're on to the third and final paragraph here, and we need to come up with something of our own. This is the additional information, and you need this. You'll see the mark scheme later. We need this to get into level 4. So what I've done is, again, I've done a starting sentence that links to the question, and I've opted to discuss another crucial aspect of Wellington's role at Waterloo, which is his own bravery and his courage. We talked about the idea that late in the battle, La Haye Saint fell, and suddenly the British centre was vulnerable to French attack. And what Wellington did was he went along the line, visible to troops, inspiring them, urging them to stand their ground. And this was incredibly important. It bolstered morale at a crucial point of the battle, inspiring his soldiers to stand firm and repel the French attackers. So this took a lot of bravery and courage, and Wellington was there in the thick of it, personally leading his men on the front line in the heat of battle. And that example that he set, that inspiration, was crucial at a particular time of the battle late in the day. And that provides us with our third reason that we've explained as to why Wellington's leadership was crucial in the British victory at Waterloo in 1850. Now, if we quickly just look at the mark scheme for this question, again, we're looking at 12 marks being available. And what I want you to focus on is level 4 at the bottom, for which you will be rewarded between 10 and 12 marks for this question. And you'll notice that we've done all those things required of us to get into level 4. The first bullet point talks about the idea of providing an analytical explanation, which we have done. We've explained 3 particular factors, and we've done that well, with precise detail. Each of those factors is directly linked to the focus of the question. So we have produced 3 paragraphs. It's structured. Each one is linked to the question, usually in the first sentence, and each one provides a bit-by-bit analysis of the factor in the question, which is, in this case, Wellington's leadership. The second bullet point in level 4, you can see that it's asking for accurate, relevant, precisely selected information, which of course indicates strong knowledge and understanding of the period that we're looking at here. And we've certainly done that. In each paragraph we've written in this exemplar answer, there's some really good touches of nice, precise, clear detail, which really does show off and impress the examiner that we really know what we're talking about here. So as you can see, it's a pretty straightforward question. It only needs 3 paragraphs, that's all. There's no introduction needed. There's no conclusion needed. We're looking at spending about 15 minutes on a question like this. What's that, 5 minutes per paragraph? Maybe a few minutes to prepare and plan what you're going to say at the start, and then 4 minutes just writing a paragraph. The paragraphs do not need to be particularly long, but the detail does need to be precise, and each paragraph does need to link directly to the question.